Hello once again, this is First Warning Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. For you skiers and snowboarders of the southeast and really the eastern half of the country, it's been a horrible start to the ski season, probably the worst that I've seen in 13 years. And we've had some bumps in the road in the past. We've had a warm spell. I've never seen it this cold and snow-free for all of November and basically December so far. But there are signs things are going to change. That's the good news. Let's start with the good news first. We've got rain heading our way tonight into Thursday. The good news about this front, it's actually going to bring both cold air and a little bit of natural snow. This is all rain Thursday afternoon. Thursday night into early Friday. Watch what happens on the backside of the system. You're going to see some northwest flow snow, a little trough of low pressure is going to be moving in, and there's going to bring up snow from western Maryland through West Virginia, especially snowshoe, and even down into the North Carolina mountains Friday night into early Saturday. Now, this won't be a lot of snow. I think maybe dusting to an inch in the highest elevations of North Carolina, but up in parts of West Virginia, it could amount to a little bit more. In fact, let's look at the model of futurecast snowfall here in the southeast, and you'll see the rain moves through quickly. Now watch the snow start to accumulate, especially up in parts of West Virginia. Snowshoe, again, looks to get a pretty good pounding, and maybe wisp as well. You can see there's some 2 to 4 inch totals showing up there. So I certainly believe we're going to see at least the opportunity for snowshoe, maybe timberline, maybe all the way up to wisp. And then down in North Carolina, this is more of a dusting, Cataloochee, Beach Sugar, Appalachian, probably nothing more than just a few flakes. The bigger story to me is the cold air, because this is going to allow for snowmakers to actually make some snow, and not just for one night, maybe for 3 days. Here's the cold air arriving early Friday. So the snow guns likely won't kick on until probably early Friday morning. But once they kick on Friday morning, they could stay on all the way into Sunday. Here's the below freezing temperatures. Watch tomorrow, nothing. But watch what happens Thursday night into Friday morning. So here's 8 a.m. Friday morning. Cold enough along all of the resorts to make snow. So they'll start early Friday morning. When that happens, could be before sunrise. So turn those snow guns on early Friday morning. They will stay on because notice temperatures stay below freezing all day Friday in the mountains. As we go into Friday night, it gets even colder, so even better snowmaking. The amounts of snow being able to be pumped out by the guns will increase Saturday morning, and we'll be seeing some pretty good snow through Saturday afternoon from those snow guns. So great snowmaking conditions Friday through Saturday, so 48 hours straight of snowmaking, and that should give us a good cover for skiing Saturday, Sunday into Monday. But the bad news is after this cold snap this weekend, it starts to warm back up next week. The cold air kind of moves out pretty quickly. It's just transient, and the warm air starts to surge back pretty quickly Wednesday and especially Christmas Eve. But there are signs there's going to be at least a weak cold front that arrives on Christmas Day to knock an edge off the temperature. So I'm not overly optimistic we'll be skiing at all on Christmas Day, because we're going to have 3 or 4 days of warming, which will likely melt a lot of the snow that we're going to make this weekend. But look closely on this map. This is next Saturday, not this Saturday. Big trough is digging out west, and that's a hint at the long range. I started looking into January, which is what we got to do now. There are signs that we're going to start putting some snow. This is a 500-hour forecast going into early January. Now, you can't take a lot of stock in this, but the thing I'm looking at is snow cover being laid down over Canada, especially eastern Canada, because that's going to allow for some cold air to spill down. And it looks like we're going to have an opportunity for at least some northwest flow snows early into January. And all the long range stuff is really pointing to this pattern flip starting in early January, but really peaking mid to late January, with some significant cold air and some cold, stormy patterns kind of syncing up. So we should have the opportunity for some good snows. And that's pretty typical of strong El Ninos. Typically, the late winter, mid to late winter, and even early spring is when we see the biggest impacts, which is cold and wet. And we're not going to see a lot of Arctic intrusions. That's just not the kind of pattern we're in El Nino. But we're going to see enough cold air, just average cold air, and an active storm track syncing up more in January, February, and especially March. So there are signs. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We've got some snowmaking this weekend, a warm up for Christmas. Probably not great skiing for Christmas or New Year's, but after New Year's, it looks like the pattern will finally change, and maybe the fortunes will change for all of us in the Southeast. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll have another update possibly this weekend if it gets cold enough, talking about the snowmaking and how much we're going to be able to pump out, and then we'll start looking ahead to that pattern change at the beginning of the year. Have a great night and a great day, and think snow.